So you've got a business, but what about a brand? The difference? More of you. Wix gives you the freedom to create your website, own your brand, and do it on your own, exactly how you envisioned it. Experience limitless customization. Boost your creativity and efficiency with AI tools for every part of your business journey. Scale up with built-in SEO, e-com, and scheduling features. Put more of you in your business. Go to Wix.com and do it all yourself.
This is Scott Becker with the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. We're thrilled today to be joined by Rick Kess. We just did a discussion on the Becker Private Equity Podcast titled Too Much Winning, the Markets Are Crashing. And this goes to the concept that there's so much tumult going on in D.C. that the markets don't know what to do with it, between potential government shutdown, potential reduction in government spending, tariffs and trade wars. And I guess the question I have for you, Rick, is how does this impact the private equity investors? They don't live in the same mode as the public markets. Will this create opportunities for them? Will this kind of turmoil lead to some slowdown? What's your sense of how this will impact the private equity deal markets?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's accretive to the deal market. I think the noise does have its, impact in the private equity world, just because it creates so much uncertainty of like what will happen next sort of thing, and how it may impact, a business's overall value proposition, and whether you're in healthcare or banking or, manufacturing, like there are positives and negatives to, lots of different things that are happening from a legislative perspective, depending on the industry, the market, et cetera. So, I do think that the overall uncertainty typically isn't good, for deal makers, because they're not sure how to price in the uncertainty risk and how to kind of address that within their valuation and their modeling and all those kinds of things, because uncertainty is something they just can't really predict the future for. So I do think it does have its contagions, to the private equity market.
Thank you. And is there any prediction as to how long this uncertainty will last? Now, many of us see a need for reducing government spending, bringing down inflation, and so forth. But if the winning leads to lots of stock market reductions and deal flow slowing significantly, at some point we're all going to get tired of so much winning, as President Trump would say. Is there some point at which the temperature will start to come down, or should we expect 4 years of this sort of up and down and people being very concerned? I take it you don't have a prediction on that. You're probably not allowed to make a prediction on that. But from a business perspective, do you see some of this calming down over a certain period of time?
It's hard. It's really difficult to kind of have a prediction, just because I think so much has happened in the last 3 months that has been unpredictable. So I guess in that, and to dodge your question as best as I can, I don't have a prediction, and it's maybe not so much on the reasons that you outlined, but more on the reasons of like it's just an unpredictable situation that we have. So we're not really sure what could or might happen.
Thank you, Rick. That doesn't sound overly promising to us watching the markets crash today, but I'm hoping that this will be short-lived. And, I do wish Jamie Dimon had become Treasury Secretary, but he didn't want that job. And now we might be stuck with all kinds of people that are afraid to oppose President Trump. We'll see how it goes. Rick, any other words of wisdom or words of comfort today? Because many of us, with the NASDAQ down 4%, the S&P down 3%, could use some of those calming words, those words of wisdom. I know you've got to have something for us.
Yeah, I mean, Scott, I do think, kind of taking it back to basics, right, and controlling the controllable. And, I think our thesis all along has been do your best to become super efficient, bring your business to, an A quality asset, and let the noise be the noise. But if you're the best asset in the class, some of that noise isn't going to matter as much to you as it is going to matter to the fringe players in your asset class. So again, I just really urge my clients to buckle down, look at using technology to become more efficient, look at how to kind of right size your cost structure within your four walls and become the best asset performer in your class. And some of that noise isn't going to matter as much to you as it is to others.
I mean, thank you. That really goes back to the Jack Welch theory. Be the best in your niche, be number one or two, and you'll thrive in good times and survive in bad times and do the best you can and try and ignore the noise. I think that's right on. Rick, as always, that was comforting. So I appreciate you giving me some sanity and centering this back today. Thank you very much for joining us on the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Scott.